Welcome to Align to Your Design. I'm your host, Baeth Davis. Isn't it time to wrap your business around your purpose and bring your greatest work to the world? Each week, join me as we explore various biometric tools such as human design and hand analysis and how to use them to fulfill your destiny and align to your design. We will reveal how to do the work you are designed to do rather than what you think you should do. Hello, you are watching To Align to Your Design. This is the place where I interview people that I feel are living on purpose and have great insight and wisdom to share. And then we have a quick look at their human design to see how these wonderful maps, known as human design charts, can reveal even more about our guest's purpose as well as your purpose. And my hope with this show is you get inspired and fired up to be the spiritual leader you're called to be, whether that's raising your children, being involved in your community, being involved in politics, being involved in business, wherever you're called to lead, that you're leading your life from the depths of your soul and not from conditioning, not what you think you should be doing, not from your head, but rather from your built-in navigational system, which you came in with. So I'm going to share about our guest today and then bring him on. He's a wonderful person, and I think you're going to really enjoy him. So our guest today is Daniel John Hanneman. He has an extensive background as a professional counselor and certified hypnotherapist with combined business and professional backgrounds in energy scanning, energy clearing, spiritual life coaching, intuitive business coaching, channeling, metaphysics, religious science, hypnosis, psychology, motivational techniques, and personal business development systems. From a best-selling book series, Daniel has co-authored the book, Wake Up, Live the Life You Love, Living in Abundance, which featured internationally renowned legends, including Anthony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Michael Beckwith. Daniel is the creator of Your Sacred Purpose, that is unleashing the hidden greatest potential within world-changing empaths, healers, and spiritual entrepreneurs by loving all of themselves, including their full power, their greatest gifts, their truest purpose, and the ability to deepen the awakening of consciousness on the planet while enjoying profound money success. Don't we love that? All right, with that, let's bring on our wonderful guest, Dan Hanneman.
Hey, great to be here, Beth. Oh, this is so fun.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm so excited. How long have we known each other?
I would say since the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, a long time.
Right. So maybe
2009-ish, maybe.
Yes,
Like
I
that.
think
Yeah.
so. I think so. Wow. So over a decade. Well, it's an honor to have you on Align to Your Design. So I want to ask you, you help people with something you call awakened sales. Can you talk about what that is, what you mean by that?
Yeah, thanks. So we've had a lot of conversations in our industry, so especially in the coaching, healing, spiritual teacher industry and all this. And there's a lot of talk about, let's be about love and light, let's be in our heart, and all this beautiful stuff, right? Let's be in our divine download. And I just want to help people and all this stuff. One of the things we often don't want to be square enough with is sales. So we see, when I go into rooms and I ask people, do you see a conflict between spirituality and sales and money? Everybody's hand goes up. Everybody says, yes, I feel like there's a conflict inside of me in that area. And it's because of all this conditioning, right? You can't be about God and spirit and then also be about money. I mean, the coaching industry has been trying to help with some of that, but then we see crazy internet marketer people that are just really are after the money, and they're doing all this stuff. And then we associate like, oh, that's what sales is, man. You gotta create all that, make money that way, stuff. We don't see how there's this synergy between being fully connected, more deeply present, all that stuff, and allowing ourselves to be sharp and clear in our work as well at the same time in our marketing and our sales and all that. and allowing ourselves to bring our greatest gifts and our greatest awakened self into the world to make the impact that we're meant to make, to increase the awakening for everyone. Rather, we just don't know what to do. We don't know how to progress. So I work with people that are burned out, like the old ways of doing things. And I also work with people who are sometimes somewhere else, up and coming or in the middle somewhere of their development and their business. And they just feel like I don't totally get what I'm here for and what I'm supposed to do. And I help them acknowledge and claim those aspects of themselves. Then we can come up with all the rest, all the usual things, all the marketing, the sales, the tribe, the branding, whatever, all that stuff. And I do it through tuning into them overall. And I do it through tuning into their past lives, their chakras, and all that sort of stuff. And we just bring it all together. And I really love helping people to value who they really are and love all of who they are, and not shelving or hiding any of it. The part that wants sales, the part that wants money. Yes, let's bring that out to play rather than like, no, okay, there's something wrong with it. And then I utilize different things like the money talk method to help people to release those encumbrances and realize what it's really trying to tell them. Because within any disturbance, there's a truth within that they're just not claiming. Once they claim that truth, then there's more vibrancy, there's more presence, there's less being in your head, as me and you, Beth, talk about. And then they're able to be solid and clear and take the next steps.
That's great. And will you share more about the money talk method?
Yeah, the money talk method is what I say is, come to me, tell me what your situation is with your sales, your money, and all that sort of stuff. And somebody say, well, I'm at 100K. I wish it was at 250. And I'm like, okay, tell me how you feel about that. Well, I feel like it's so hard, and I just, I'm working so hard, I can't seem to get there, and I just, nothing ever changes. Okay, how's that feel? Then we take it deeper, we identify it in their energy and their chakras, and then we allow that energy itself to talk. We say, okay, you be quiet, let that energy talk. Then I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it not only with what they're saying as the energy is speaking to us, but also from, of course, my intuitive guidance and what I know about what it's really saying, which I'm just got a talent for overall. And I'm able to say, oh, I know what you're saying. You're saying this and that. What we do is we are able to have it be acknowledged and heard for what it's really trying to say, because it's kind of confused because you're acting strange. Once you're like, okay, I understand who I am again, it's like it can actually just be what it already is, rather than acting out the way it is, trying to get your attention, say, hey, we're not having a good time. We want to do sales, but you're not letting us, and we're sad, And so we act out in all these different ways, like kids do, right? When they're not getting attention.
Right.
So we give them attention, we give them love, and then they can play their role the way they want to and take things to the next level of sharpness in their message, or relax more, or whatever it is that person needs.
Right. Wonderful. And just a little tip on Zoom, and I'm going to leave this on the recording for everyone. Did you know every time you move your hands in front of the camera, that's what causes the slow and the bandwidth, because our camera has to refocus. Just FYI. I know it's hard. I know I have to sit on my hands now, because I realized that was what's going on. So just FYI, I'm sharing that with all the listeners too. Like, keep your hands out of the Zoom frame and the thing will go faster.
Awesome.
So you're really good at helping people work through their sales stuff, Daniel, work through their blocks to sales. And to take the conversation really to even a larger frame, this is about manifesting. And you are really good at helping people manifest in the way that is right for them. And one of the things you have talked about with me is how surrender is becoming more and more a part of how to manifest, and more in people's consciousness, rather than the way we've been conditioned to manifest. So can you share about how you perceive we've been conditioned to managed to manifest, and then also how surrender ties into that?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, we've been taught basically, yeah, and I might move my hands still because it's just
I know,
natural
yeah, I
for
know
me.
it's very challenging. I know.
So fun. Beth, I'm gonna move my hands outside the street. Woo! Okay.
Right.
So it's just such there is just such that conditioning of I'm gonna win. Like I'm looking at something on my vision board, tennis. So I'm just thinking about how, at times I've played tennis a lot in my life, and when I go out and play that tennis and I got in those angry states, I'm like, I'm gonna win no matter what. Watch me manifest. And I literally, there's times on the court, Beth, I would say, if it kills me, I'm winning this round. I'm winning this game. And I would win, but I would suffer in my body afterwards. I'd be like, oh, my back is hurting, because I literally was saying I was willing to die for it, right? So that is basically what we're seeing in a collective sense so far is no matter what it takes to produce, we will not only survive, we will thrive, we will have more than enough material things to take care of everything. And everybody's like all jazzed up about that, but it's all coming from this wounding that I'm not enough, nothing's enough. The world's not enough unless we like get really revved up, and we've just been conditioned into the idea that that's the way it's supposed to be. When the truth is, we're abundant, we're fulfilled already within ourselves. Now, of course, we have an outer purpose. We have something we've come here to do. When we're not doing it, we're not going to feel fulfilled. But at a foundational level, we already have all the abundance. We already have all that. It's a very old, it's nothing new, but we already have that. So when we foundationally come from that place and we're willing to create abundance from within ourselves, then things work. Because a lot of times people are trying to create things in their business from a sense of I'm not good enough, I'm lax, so let me try this, let me try that strategy, all these things they're telling me to do. And they're trying to create it all from a sense of lax. So the surrender comes in that you're willing to let go of everything. You'll be willing to be fully surrendered, and you're willing to just let what's true from your natural abundant nature to come out and play, like just what is true for me. And if it's true to just sit and meditate today, then that would be your truth. I have clients who barely do any outer work to make money, but they still make a bunch of money whenever they need it, right? Like, and I love that. I love that reflection back for me, for my clients too, right? It's like, oh, I love seeing that in them as well. So they just, because it's their thing, we get clear on what do you really want, overall, how do you want to be in your life? For this client, she just wants to be and make the money. And okay, let's create it that way then. So I just anchor her in that energy and support her in that. And then even when her mind's like my mind does it sometimes too, is, Beth, like, oh my God, but where's the money? Oh my God, and then, oh, got another deal, got another real estate development deal. What do you know? It just happened. I wasn't expecting that, It just comes. Just from this surrender state, this is where magic happens. And we can very consciously manifest even from that place when we're allowing ourselves just to listen, like just the incredible little synchronicities that happen along the way. People you're meant to work with, you just hear a whisper, the next day the offer's on the table, the most bizarre way possible, right? You just, like, you couldn't have manufactured it. Like, those are the kind of things that are wanting to become commonplace for people in their lives, rather than like, whoa, this is this exceptional manifestation experience. That's how we experience it here, but it becomes like a normal, natural state. And I want to say that it still includes, what I've had to learn is it still includes, because for my tribe, I see this is always true, you still need to be sharp and clear and bottom line within that energy as well. Like getting past like all the, but I'm in my heart, it feels good. Yeah, but after you're done, you feel like crap, like overgiving or devaluing yourself or whatever, trying to save the world. So it's like we have to remember like that fire and steel aspect in our energy. I talk about those elementals, air, water, fire, steel. We have to claim those out because those are the elements we've disowned the most as spiritual, entrepreneurs, light leaders, whatever you want to call all of us.
Right. Wonderful. I'm just going to look over at my notes here because I have another question for you right on the heels of that. How do you support the light leaders, the coaches, the healers, the entrepreneurs to expand their consciousness and make more sales rather than getting caught in pushing? They might hit that goal, but like you said with your tennis game example, they feel damaged by the experience rather than
Exactly.
lifted up.
Exactly. And I used to be a coach. I mean, back when we met, like I was still in that mode, right? I was still in that mode. I'm like, come on. And man, it works. It does work in terms of getting that result. Like my clients, I'd be like,
Hmm.
they come in, oh, I'm having a lovely time. I'm like, okay, how many offers this week? What did you do? Like I was like a pit bull. I was like, and it worked. Like they hated me sometimes, but it worked. They definitely got the deal done, but it created a lot of unnecessary suffering and drama. It didn't need to be that way. So instead, what I'm doing now, and like I did in my tennis game, is eventually what I understood is like just because I got tired of it. So it's just like when I was fully present and when I was just like not in my head at all, it's in my body, just fully present. I says, if my mind, I always say, if you want to think positively, right?
Hmm.
So if
Hmm.
you're going to use thinking, okay, use it positively at
Hmm.
least. So I just say,
Yes,
oh,
totally.
you know what? You're doing well. You know what? That was good what you did over there. Like if
Yeah.
my mind want to comment, I said, fine, give me positive feedback. All right. So I just did that for like 8 weeks in a row, playing all kinds of different partners and matches, and I won every single time. But I wasn't concerned. I was focused on being present and having fun. I totally was of the alignment of I'm winning, but I don't care though at the same time. It's like that detachment, right? And it's just happening. So when I work with clients, it's much the same. It's like this result that you want is happening, and you need to let go of like your attachment to it. Like number one, you can't be attached to it, but you can affirm it, you can know it, you can just, if it's true for you, right? A lot of times
Hmm.
people come up with intentions that don't serve them. They're just, I'm
That's
gonna make
right.
$1 million this year. Like, yeah, no, you aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're not,
Right. I can tell you right
because
now you're not, right?
the universe has other plans for you this year. Yes. Hmm.
Yes, just even from the frame of when you're fully surrendered and practicing this presence through practice, I always have my clients in a meditation practice. Are you meditating? For me, I like meditating 3 times a day, at least 20 minutes each time. For me, that helps to center and ground me. I
Hmm.
can always do more. If I miss the session, then whatever, you just come right back to it. I say that with any practice that we have. But so foundationally, like meditation and dealing with these aspects inside of people, where they maybe need some awakening inside, I'm able to use my gifts to wake that up inside them. Hey, this is who you are. You're meant to, be a teacher for Mary Magdalene. And they always knew it, but they hadn't claimed it, right? I'm like, therefore, these are the programs you need, and it wakes up the energy that's latent inside of them. And there's not necessarily all these practices to do all the time, but we have the practice of just knowing what the truth is and keep recentering on it. And then we utilize things like the money talk method in the sessions, and then in between sessions they can utilize it for themselves when they're like, oh no, I'm getting this weird energy. I'm like, okay, did you ask it what it's trying to tell you? You listening? And then things like that, just basic things,
Hmm.
just basic
Yeah.
simple
Right.
things. Because honestly, Beth, if people would just write down simple things they want to see manifested and read them even once a day, and just without any concern about it, just read it aloud,
Yeah.
they'll be blown away by how that just manifests and quicker than they realize. Like we just make it all too complicated.
Yeah, we really do. Instead of just getting really clear on what we want and then aligning to it from who we are.
Right.
So with that, why don't we have a look at your human design? The links for everyone to reach you will be in the show notes, so everyone will have access to those. So let's dive right into your chart. I'm just going to bring that up on the screen here, and we will have a look, because you did ask me a question about something. So, okay. I'm just going to bring up the body graph part. You see it?
Yeah. Yep. I see this.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So you're what is known as a single definition manifesting generator. And you can see that the energy runs between the G center in the middle here, the yellow box, down to the sacral and up from the sacral through the rhythm channel. And then you have the 3420, which is the charisma channel or the busyness channel. And it's the only manifesting generator channel in all of human design. It's a pure manifesting generator channel because you have both a motor which is the sacral here, connected to the throat, which is the manifesting potential. And then anyone with a defined sacral is automatically a generator. So you have both the manifesting potential of using your voice to inform and the sacral motor to keep going. So you have a lot of power. You have a lot of power. Gate 34 is pure power, and it's the only gate off of the sacral that doesn't have a sexual and or physical aspect to it. It's much more about the creative power to take what you say and put it into practice. So typically people with a 3420 channel, when they're correct, and when I say correct, they're living their strategy and authority and making decisions as themselves. This energy is very, very powerful, and people want a piece of it. They want to attach to this charisma that you naturally have, and it will come alive when you're on stage, when you're doing any kind of speaking. My experience is people with a 3420, when they speak from their vision, it's profound for the listener, profound for the listener. And these types of individuals like yourself, you can have profound influence, and that can be good, bad, or ugly, depending on one's level of awareness. Now, you had asked me about lead generation, and I thought, what a great question for you and all of our listeners. Let's look at your human design and lead generation and what that would be about. So, one of the places in human design to figure out where someone makes the most money is looking for the 3 lines, because the 3 line is about the material world. It's very physical. It's very physical. So when people have a 3 line in their profile, or they have a 3 line, major in their chart, they spend a lot of time bumping into things physically until they figure it out. So in anyone's chart, it's about looking at where are the 3s. So you have a 3 up underneath in the deeper part of the DNA, that's up in the variable. And you have another 3 over in the variable here on the design side. So we'll talk about those in a moment, because those are going to be really important. They're running, in a sense, behind the scenes. And then you have, we'll start on the design side. So I'm just going to scan. You've got 46-3, line 3. And that's the only 3, except for the one up here in the variable. And then over on the personality side, you have gate 25, line 3. We won't worry about this number right now, but I could explain that, but it takes up too much time. So for all intents and purposes, you have a 1 3 on gate 25. So let's start with that. This is your personality, and part of my lisp, I just got Invisalign, and I'm trying to wear it as much as they want me to, and it's quite, I got to get used to talking with retainers in my mouth.
That's
So
fun.
gate 25 is connected to your personality moon. So the moon is about what drives us. The personality is about how we communicate with the other. So all this information here is essentially our psychology. It's the psychology of how our mind works and what we're here to communicate with people. Well, you're here to communicate gate 25, line 3, as part of what you communicate. And it is what people will come to you for and what they want to be motivated by, because the moon is the driver. So this is what, in many ways is driving the other. And so 25 is about universal love. 25 is about a love of the universe, of the cosmos, the love of God. And it's about being initiated into a higher frequency. And that's where your 3 line is. And it's the moon. So in many ways, you're helping people use the phases of the moon to initiate things in their life. And so I would really urge you to get a farmer's almanac and learn the cycles of the moon. You're probably fairly aware with them anyways, but understanding people should not start projects except in a new moon period. Right? Like if you start a project on the waning moon, I've tracked it in my life, it usually won't work out. It's a very interesting thing. And some people will roll their eyes at this. I don't care, because the moon impacts the tides. The US military has been studying the moon and Mars and all these planetary bodies in our solar system extensively. They all act on us magnetically. And so when people say astrology isn't real, I often say, well, have you heard about this thing called the moon and how it controls the tides depending on where it is in its phase, right? Which is really about its relationship between the earth and the sun, right? So for you to learn the moon phases and just use that as a guide, have it in your calendar, like, oh, we're in a new moon phase. This is a great time for people to start things. Oh, we're in a wane, the moon is waning. It's a great time to clean things up, right? And full moons, of course, are a great time to set your full intention, set the big picture. Most of what we know about the moon is familiar to most of us because it's so ancient. It's such an ancient, it's in our DNA to honor the moon cycles. So when you honor this moon energy, you become more prosperous because it's on your moon. And the prosperity in terms of lead generation is about this initiation. So one way you can market to generate more leads is to be very specific that you initiate people into a greater consciousness of universal laws and universal love. And you help them sync up their life with the solar system so that they can make really great decisions. Now, of course, human design is always interacting with what's going on in the solar system. We're being impacted every moment, every single moment. For me to say the word moment has already been infinite moments, right? So there is this constant impact going on. So that's one place. Now, moving over to your design side, you have 46. You have it a number of times in your chart, which is why it's striped here. So you've got 46 over here in, what is that, Uranus? Yes, Uranus. 46 line 3 in Uranus. So this is love of the body, right? You've got 3 gates off the G center. All the G center gates are about love. So I'll just clear this up for a minute. So we have the universal love, which you have for your moon. And then you have the love of the body, which is very much about being in the right place at the right time, Daniel. It's about good fortune that comes from honoring your commitments, honoring follow through, but also being flexible enough to be in the right place at the right time. So an opportunity comes along, your sacral gets a you're there, even if it doesn't make sense. So it's very important with being a sacral authority that every opportunity comes your way, have your wife or your coach or friend, someone you trust, to ask you yes or no questions. So you can get a because opportunities that come your way that you get a to, and you just are willing to be very flexible. Oh, I have to fly here. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I need to get new signage. Oh, I need some new equipment, whatever it might be to make that opportunity happen. It's going to generate a lot of gold for you, just a lot of gold, because that's where your 3 line is. So it's not only about right place, right time. 46 is the good fortune gate. It's the gate of good fortune. And it's almost saying good fortune comes to those who take care of their body. I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious. I don't have gate 46. And I actually am pretty sure had I had it, I would have had maybe no health issues or minor. But because I wasn't listening to my body, I got quite ill. And you don't have a defined spleen over here, which is the health center, right? So you have actually a pretty delicate system. But because you have this love of the body, you're unlikely to push yourself too hard. And you know from that tennis lesson, it doesn't work for you to push. This isn't the design of someone who's here to push. This is the design of someone who's here to wait to respond.
Right.
So a lot of opportunities can always be coming to you because of your capacity. Because as a single definition, and by that I mean all the defined areas are connected, right? They're connected in one kind of fell swoop. A single definition person, and this is true for everyone listening, a single definition, you learn things quicker, you want to move faster than the other definitions. They're split and triple split and quadruple split. You are single definition. So you move very quickly and lots of opportunities will come to you. And the main thing for you is that it doesn't throw off your rhythm. You have this 5-15 channel. So you need that, like you said, I meditate 3 times a day. Awesome. The rituals you put in place that nurture you and your body bring you more good fortune. And that's one of the things your clients want from you, Daniel, is how do I create a healthy spiritual practice so I can embody universal love? Now, you naturally embody universal love. It's one of the first things I felt from you. And I don't think I would have called it that. But I remember saying to our mutual friend, Pamela, wow, Daniel's really loving, as in deeply, deeply loving. Like it's beyond a love of a friend or love of a client or even love of your wife or children. It goes beyond that to this love of life, this love for humanity, this respect and reverence for the magic, the mystery of life itself. And your rhythm channel says that's great. And let's be sure we have a nice schedule to follow. So you're going to be, you need things laid out for you. You like to have a plan. And it's tricky because you're meant to be in response. So the plan
Right,
can get,
exactly. Yeah.
right. So this is more about what in your rhythm keeps you in your body. Right. So that's why you and I have talked about weight training, martial arts, walking, dancing, like dancing to move the feminine, martial arts to move the masculine,
Yeah.
movement. So profound for you to
I do
have that
all 3 of
built in.
those things, so that's good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and you've always been fit and healthy. I don't think I've ever known you to be ill in the whole time I've known you. Maybe a cold, but that's it. So let's look at the 3s now up in your, we'll finish with those. We'll go into the home stretch. So up in our full reports that we run here at the Your Purpose community. And if you want a full report, you can just PayPal me, Baeth Davis, $15, and we'll send you a report just as an aside, because we're licensed with the software. There's this thing called the variable here. And it's the base tone and color beneath the line. So let me show you what I mean by that in your report. Notice, we'll use gate 25 since we talked about it. 25, line 3, and then we have this number 4. So let's go down into your report. And it has all the personality and design configurations described. Okay, so here we have personality moon. Gate 25, line 3, the keynote word, sensibility, the recognition that innocent action does not in itself guarantee success. Like you were saying, it's a balance between the action and surrender, that when you were going at people really hard, that wasn't quite right. But to totally take your hands off the wheel, that doesn't work either. Right. So it's a very fine balance. So notice how we have gate 25, line 3 in the hexagram. The color is the next number. So when you look at these reports, up top there in the body graph, it'll say 25, line 3, color 4. And then we have the tone and the base. If you actually look up DNA, say on Wikipedia, it explains that the DNA has a color, tone, and base. And this is beneath the line. Here's the line. This is beneath the line. And it's very important. It influences us because you get percentages. So somebody could actually be gate 25, line 3, color 4, tone 4, base 5, and have different percentages than you, which is what gives us so much variation in humanity. Even in twins, right? If they're born a minute or 2 apart, it affects what's beneath the line. So when we look beneath the line, we get the color. So let's go back up to your variable, which is determined from the sun and earth and node locations. And remember, we've got a 3 on this upper row in the variable. And then we also have a 3 over here in the realm of your variable that relates to your everyday living. So let's look at your chart. Okay. So kitchens is your environment. That's a 3 line. Remember, 3 lines are where the most money is. Okay, 3 line. And your sense is action. So you have a very interesting situation for making more money and generating leads. One, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it's best for you to work in the kitchen. It's not really good for you to be isolated in an office. It's much better if you're even sitting at the kitchen counter and your kids walk through and people, that you get the energy that you need. You get the movement that you need in the kitchen. And the kitchen's usually the hub of the house. It's the first factory there ever was, right? It's the kitchen. It's where things are made. It's where things are made. In the town I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, there is there's a bunch of historical houses. And my mom works for one of the historical societies. In fact, I believe she's president of the Plymouth Antiquarian Society. I want to get that right. And they maintain a number of these historic houses. So she one day took me on a tour of one of the houses and showed me the kitchen. And it was just remarkable. They did so much in this kitchen. They baked bread, they had parties, people would sleep there. They had extra people coming. They'd be in the kitchen by the fire where it was warmest, that kind of thing. So the kitchen is the original factory. So a kitchen environment would be like an open floor plan, like the image behind me, like where you have sort of open offices or people can see each other moving around, or in your actual kitchen. It opens up your aura. It opens up energy for you and it opens up money. It opens up money. The other thing is the sense, which is here in your personality. What's so interesting about this is your motivation is innocence, which isn't even a motivation. It's about being present. And your job is to just keep taking action, but from a non-thinking place. It's more just checking in with the sacral. Should I do this? Shouldn't I? And without having an agenda. It's a very wild setup you have where it's exactly what you teach people. That your sense is, oh, I got to take action. But your motivation says, yeah, but on what? And your body says, it doesn't really matter. Just take action and information will be revealed to you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So if you get an idea, say, to do something with your marketing, have someone ask you yes, no questions to drill down what's going to work best, and then just go into it without an expectation. That's the main thing for you is to, if you're driven by too many goals and too many metrics, it actually derails you.
Yeah, it does.
Which is interesting because that's not how most of us are trained. Now, for me, if I have a sort of opposite setup to you in my chart. So it works the opposite way for me. I have to have my mind on goals all the time. And so literally my mind works best talking to myself, something like this. This was today. Get up, go to your Cairo. Now let's go drive and get some coffee. And then when you get back from coffee, you're going to finish that laundry. And then you're going to pick up those papers and then you're going to make 2 phone calls. And then you have that appointment. And I'm so happy when I'm just doing the tasks. And it's not like I'm thinking about the tasks.
Okay.
I just know I've got to do these things to get to my goal. Whereas for you, you're moving around doing the things. And the best thing for your mind to be thinking is, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Now, it's not how men are trained either in our culture. Men are trained, oh, hit the goal, hit the target, be a hunter. Well, that's fine. But you're the person who, if you were a hunter, they'd like put you out to watch for enemies. You know, Daniel, be reconnaissance. And then the action will be running back and forth, Sharon. We're talking like medieval, we're talking a medieval war, okay? So when you're in a medieval war, you're sitting hidden up on a rock on the hill. They can't see you, which fits with your design. You're not visible. Until you're called out, right? And let's say it's more modern times. So they walkie-talkie you. Hey, over. What's happening? And nothing's happening. We're fine. Proceed, whatever. So you're actually giving the actions. You're actually guiding people, but you're waiting for information to come in, and you don't know what that information will be. You're very in the moment design. So anything where you're like, well, I need to know, I need to plan, that's all conditioning for you. Now, someone else could have a chart where I would say, like me, if I'm not planning, I am failing. Really, I'm failing. And it happened a little bit to me this summer because I was thinking, how can I bring more of our transformational shamanic work into what we're doing? And it sounds all simple now, but at the time I was being upgraded, right? My whole system was going through this awakening, and I kind of went into not being focused on what do I need to do. And things just halt around, everything stops. Even my team would stop. They're like, what's happening? And I didn't understand what was going on. And I teach this stuff. So you and I have like opposite ways of manifesting our goodness. And so for you, it's very much about being open to the outcome, being in a place of wonder, and then just taking the actions and saying, well, whatever unfolds, it's going to be perfect. Whereas for me, I need to know the outcome. I need a very specific goal. Give me a dollar amount, I can hit it. And I've had to learn this with myself. Give me metrics and I can meet them. And I'll meet them in very unconventional ways. Like for years, I've been wanting to lose like 15 pounds. This year I did it with no diet, no nothing. But all the conditions were right. My intention had been there all along. And then I found the right actions that weren't in a book, right? They weren't someone's diet plan. And the weight just came off, And there are many, many factors for that. And it wasn't a diet. So I need to have very clear goals. You do not. You need a universal love intention. Right? Your whole design is, how can I be of greater service, universe? How can I be more loving, universe? Show me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I do that, nothing happens.
Right. I remember you told me that before.
Nothing happens.
If I do it the way you do it, nothing's going to happen for me.
Well, if you do it your way, if you did it my way, what happens is you start irritating all the people around you, and they start thinking you're too pushy. Whereas when I'm pushy, people like it. It's almost like I'm scratching their back, right? They're like, I'm on them, I'm barking at them, they're asking me, they're paying me, they're asking me. I don't do that. I don't do that with people who aren't asking and aren't paying. Like my family, my friends, unless they ask me, I'm not getting involved. I prefer not to be involved. But if the conditions are right and you want my desire motivation, that'd be great. But innocence is a 6 line and it transfers to a 3 line. 6 and 3 have a relationship. So you and I are just flipped. I have desire, motivation, innocence, transference. You have innocence, motivation, desire, transference. And transference is our not self. Puts you right in frustration. Fastest way to frustration is for you to get into, well, what are we doing? What's the plan?
That's so true.
What are my goals? You even asked me, oh, Beth, you have a program coming up. Like, what's involved in that? I'm like, it doesn't matter. To you, not really. Like, even if I give it to you, it still won't solve your transference. Because if I keep trying to fulfill your desires, see, I have insider intel, right? I can look at your chart. You keep throwing desires at me, I just keep backing off. And why does this happen? Right? Oh, well, I need this from you. I need that from you to make my decision. It's like, no, you don't. All you need is your sacral, right?
Yeah.
But it takes years to decondition from the habit of being incorrect. And the thing is, our incorrectness is built into the mechanism. It's built in so we stay awake. Because the whole point of this system is awareness. That's it. It's awareness, nothing else. You can do anything when you're aware of who you are. But when you're unaware of who you really are, you're just in the conditioning field that tells all of us the same things. Oh, success is having a 7-figure business, or success is driving a sports car, or success is you're always up perfect with your schedule and you're so disciplined, and success goes to early risers. And then you realize that is such bullshit.
Right.
Success for each person is based on how they're designed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get that right, you could have, hey, I've had times in my life I made millions of dollars and I went about it not honoring myself and I got sick. This happens a lot to people, right? So you have this incredible way to generate leads that is all about the Oprah method of manifestation. You ready for that? This is the Oprah method of manifestation. It doesn't work the same way for me. I can wake up every morning and do the Oprah method of manifestation. And if I don't constantly say, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Nothing happens. So here it is. You ready for this earth-shattering revelation?
I'm ready.
Oprah wakes up in the morning, according to Oprah, and she says, God, use me for the highest good of all.
Mhm.
Show me how to use my gifts. Show me the best application of my abilities. Now, it's worked out really well for her, that approach. I don't have her chart in front of me. I don't know her motivation or transference or any of that. But that actual approach, I think, is good for anyone to just to be open. What does the universe have in store for me? I ask that question too.
Yeah.
But I just know that my life goes best when I just have a list of stuff to do. And it's not even about what I'm doing. It's just getting stuff done. And that keeps my energy going. Whereas for you, you're getting stuff done because you're very good at getting stuff done without a hardcore agenda, without a specific metric. So you wake up in the morning, you say, okay, universe, use me for the highest good. Wait to respond, see what comes into your field, have someone ask your sacral, a yes, no question or series of yes, no questions. And then you know what your actions are. But you have a kind of design, you may not even know where you're going to be in 5 or 10 years or what that service is going to look like.
Right.
It's more about you just being wowed by the process. Does this make sense?
Yeah, that's never worked
Yeah.
for me, trying to do those plans and this is who I'll be and this is where I'm going. It doesn't make any sense. So
No, whereas if I don't do that, years can go by and I've missed the boat and I haven't fulfilled the goals. So that's how we're all so different. And so for you, lead generation or anything you put your mind to is more about aligning with universal consciousness and then opening yourself to be guided where you need to go without putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Right. Right. Yeah, that phrase keeps coming to me that I got from a channeler once. She just kept saying again and again, your abundance comes from reading the present conditions. And just that's all she would keep saying. Your abundance comes from reading the present conditions again and again and again. And it really stuck with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So what if you did a daily 5-minute conditions report to your community?
Ah, that'd be fun. So tell
Just
me a
every
little more
morning,
about that. Give me an example.
Every morning you pop in there and you hear the conditions for today. This is what I downloaded.
Cool. I like it.
And again, who knows what it'll be? Your motivation's innocence. Who knows? You can't plan that out.
Right.
Remember, everything about you is in the moment. I am not designed in the moment.
Right.
There are places I can be in the moment, but on a life scale, I'm not. You are an in the moment, spontaneous design.
Wow.
So the more you let yourself flow with the moment, the better your life becomes. The less you control it, the better. Now, letting go of control and surrender, hey, it's what we're all learning how to do, where we need to let go of control. But some of us, like for me, it's like where I've let go of control was a bad idea. And I had to take back control, right? And so it's learning where are the places to open and surrender and where are the places we need to put some hard control in place. And for you, the hard control is more about having a regular rhythm to do your downloads, right? So you do your 3 times a day meditating. Maybe you do your once a day or 5 times a week check-in, and then that's going to generate all the clients you need, because they're going to say, oh, I need his broad, innocent, huge, expanded perspective to put this in context. And that's what you do for people. You help people put their life in the context of the rest of life, because most of us get into bubbles of our own making, jail cells of our own making, tunnel vision of our own making. And you're very good at bing, wake up, bing, wake up, bing, wake up, stay in the moment, stay here now, don't spin out.
Right. That's
So.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic in the, for me. Yeah, I just really, my sacral really lit up when you talked about just, because that's what I love. I love being in the moment. I love to be the magician in the moment. Like, everybody's worried about this, everybody's planning, everybody's doing whatever they're doing, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Oh, hey, by the way, like, and then I'm just like, oh, by the way, I got this thing to share for you that can be of help to you, and like change someone's course entirely, where
That's
they're
right.
focused entirely. And so that is my brilliance, is getting that foundation set for people to be correct in alignment with what's more true for them. Is what basically is the number one thing people seek me out for. That and that universal love vibe you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, people feel that. I mean, are just like, oh, I just need to work with you.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say for people needing to expand their cosmic consciousness, needing to have a better, more regular spiritual practice, they need some rituals and routines. They need some structure. It's just, it's challenging for you to lay out a program for everyone and go, here's the structure.
Right.
It's much better if you can work with people in a more organic and customized way to help them design a structure that works for them.
Right, exactly.
Now, out of that, you may find trends, you may find patterns that are consistent with people that allow you to create a program. The program comes out of the experience working with the clients, not you trying to create the program and then deliver it in advance.
Right, exactly.
It happens on the back end, not the front end. So you're a creator that creates in response to what's coming to you, rather than trying to use your mind to force it to happen, which won't ever work for you.
Right.
It'll just make you supremely frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, it's very liberating because I go through times when I'm fine, and then the mind is like most people, right? It's worried. Oh my God, what are you doing? And then it wants to try to plan and everything, and it's like,
that's right.
No. So, but when I'm following just the wave of energy that's coming to me, I know in advance, like something like you saying, hey, do you want to check this thing out with me or whatever? Like I already felt the wind of that coming. I already got the memo. Like, that's the person I am. Like, I get the memo ahead of time, and I'm like, oh yeah, I just got that memo, like earlier today or yesterday or whatever. And then it just manifests. It's just like, oh, there it is, right on my plate. Like I've told you, I go to restaurants. I'm like, I'm just even considering something, and they just bring me exactly what I'm considering. Like, I love it, a side of fruit with that. Okay, and then they just bring it out. Like and it's not part of the meal. They just bring it to me for free. I mean, so it's a funny way that life has shown me that this is how I can be so abundant, but also that I have taught other people to embody that way of being. It doesn't mean that's their only way of being, but to embody more of that. So it is part of what I do as well. Yeah,
it is. It's incredible what you do. And you're so tuned into it, which is great. So thank you, Daniel. On that note, we're going to end here. And it's such a pleasure. Hope to have you back. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in. See you next time. And I'm Baeth Davis. I'll see you around. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Align to Your Design. If you did, please grab my free report, Business by Design, at yourpurpose.com, and then join our Facebook group, Align to Your Design. See you next time.